I'm going to be talking as I'm doing stuff with my hands. I'm making a yarn tail while I'm working so that I can remember what I'm talking about. So, this video, if you haven't seen the title, is about the stuff I was forced to do when I was little. More like sports or activities in general. So, have you ever wondered why I hate goats? It's because I was forced to show them when I was little. I hated that with a burning passion. Imagine a premature child having to handle a very strong animal that is way stronger than her, and it wants to do anything but be walked on a leash. So, there was this one particular day I still have locked in my memory where I would try my hardest to get my goat to pay attention and listen, and then eventually we walked out of the stadium to get our awards, sort of like our ribbons. So it was first, second, third. I'm pretty sure the ribbons went up to 7th place, and then I was like, wait, why didn't I get a ribbon? And she's like, oh, that's because you placed last. I'm like, what do you mean I placed last? Oh no, my dad's gonna get mad at me, because he would get mad at me even if I tried my hardest and wouldn't make it. And I was just afraid of how my dad would act. So, of course, I got scolded on the way home. Another thing was sometimes you'd have to go and clean the goats' kennels. And yes, it was really disgusting, really bad. Other animals we had to show were rabbits, and my favorite were chickens. Those were my absolute favorite animals to show. But I hated wearing jeans because of sensory issues. But, of course, when you're showing animals, you have to wear jeans. So, that just sucked. Showing chickens was not too bad. When you would show chickens, you just had to keep them still, answer a few questions, make sure that your chicken looks okay, no bruises or blemishes, that kind of stuff. I've only gotten 2 belt buckles. One of them, those were from my last year of showing animals, and they were my silky bantams. Those are my favorite chickens. Alright, but back to goats. There was this one memory that I have where I was trying to take my goat to go to the show you were showing off your pets. It was like a talent show for your pets. And I just wanted to take the goat because why not? Well, I decided, since she was very strong, I'd hold on to a pole with one arm and hold on to her with the other. Well, guess what happened? She yanked really hard, I went flying, let go, I face planted into the ground, and my goat ran off. So, I had a bunch of people walk over to me, and they're like, are you okay? I'm like, no, I'm not, I don't want to show goats. And when I tried to tell my dad multiple times I didn't want to show goats. They were too strong for me. I didn't like having to show them by walking up and down our pasture, making him run and then catching him again, doing it over again. Just is not fun. And I made sure to let him know that, but his excuse every time would be, or not really an excuse, but what he'd say was more likely, like, why do you guys not even try? I pay my hard-earned money for these goats, and you don't even get buyers for them. And I'm like, well, if you didn't want to have to pay this much for goats, and we don't want to do it, why are you making us do it? That was annoying. But away from animals and being forced to show them, I remember being very little and having to play t-ball. I really that's the whole reason I despise most sports, is because of t-ball. Imagine a little kid with ADHD, undiagnosed, had sensory issues with the pants, and the shirt was uncomfortable and tight, and you had to be in the blaring hot sun while hitting a ball and run around while your parents and other parents are screaming at you to pick up the ball, or I don't know, just screaming at you for what you should do. I hated it. I would sit there and draw in the sand because I didn't want to be there. Who else would want to be there unless you were some crazy person? No offense to those people who like sports. So yeah, I just don't like sports because of it, because of being forced to do that. I didn't like showing animals because I was forced to do that and because of sensory issues. Yeah, animals just, they suck. Showing rabbits, I don't think that was too hard, except for they would scratch you a lot. So what we had to do to show rabbits was we had to hold them down there, spread them out. That's pretty much all we had to do. Explain why if they were meat or fur rabbits or both. I don't know. It's been forever since I've been to 4-H doing that, showing animals. But, I'd say it was horrible. We also thought that we'd only have to keep them in very small cages, which was not good. We should not have done that. Ooh, but my sister did make a very interesting decision. So since we had to fatten up our rabbits, she decided to feed hers extra and feed ours a little bit less than hers so that she would have hers better. She won through it. But one of my favorite and all-time best memories of showing animals was when I was showing chickens against my twin. We were the only ones in that competition. They asked the question, what part of a chicken has scales? And my sister got to go first. She thought it was under the feathers. That was so funny because she's like, you know when you pet underneath the feathers? And they're like, what in the heck is wrong with you? And then I was like, it's the legs. Look at the legs. Gosh, there's scales on the legs. I don't know, that was hilarious. But yeah, most of my annoying memories were from showing animals. I didn't like the 4-H grounds. We would walk around, we'd just walk around trying to look at other people's animals because it was just so boring out there. But here's when being in 4-H was not a really good time. If you knew me when I was little, I was a sassy little brat who was a jerk to everyone. I don't know why I was so rude when I was little. I don't know. I was just overstimulated and grumpy all the time. But these boys had seen me sitting in a random chair I had found. They're like, hey, this is our cube. Oh gosh, I got yarn in my mouth. Ugh. They're like, hey, this is our cube. Please get out. And I was like, this isn't your cube, actually. This is the fair's. So those boys did not like me, and I don't blame them for hating me. But here's when it started to get out of hand. These boys thought it would be a good idea. One person grabbed this arm, one person grabbed this arm, another person grabbed my legs. They would all pull. And it hurt. And my sister saw me and she's like, hey, get out of here. You know, I'm glad I didn't see those guys again. But then again, I was being a jerk. I was a little brat. But showing animals was always just the worst part of me. I hated it to a high extent because genuinely I was forced into it. I guess my parents wanted me to succeed in something, but I don't know. If someone doesn't have a knack for that stuff, doesn't like doing that, I don't see why you should make them do it, you know. But anyways, I think that's all that I've got left talking about stuff I was forced to play when I was little to do. So yeah, thank you guys for watching. See you later, I guess.